Hey guys, how's it going? Another little car video today. Sorry if it's a little dark. It is late in the afternoon coming home from work, but I wanted to talk about Rolex and authorized dealers and the fact that you shouldn't blame Rolex, you should blame the authorized dealer. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. I am wearing my Rolex OP39. And also, in my last car video, you guys wanted a kind of a shot of the car that I'm driving. This is my everyday. It's a 2019 Maserati Ghibli S Granlusso Noble Edition. It's a very large mouthful. Here's a picture from Google Maps. And yeah, I'm happy you guys like the format. I probably will do it once a month or so, maybe a couple times a month, just to change it up. And I do some of my best thinking in the car when I'm kind of driving home. So this is not going to be particularly heavily edited or anything, but yeah, let's talk Rolex and the fact that you shouldn't blame Rolex, you should blame the authorized dealer. Now, what does that mean? Rolex is heavily in demand. That goes without saying. And whether Rolex is limiting supply or not for kind of to create this demand, you know, there's an argument for that. I'm sure it's partially true. But I think it has a lot to do with the authorized dealer. What do I mean? Well, I don't mean you can walk into the nicest authorized dealer in the world and they'd offer you a sub. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But what I do think is authorized dealers treat people differently depending on what authorized dealer you go to. Take Miami, for instance. Miami is a pretty big city, lots of demand for Rolex. And I had two very different experiences at local authorized dealers. I'm not going to name them or anything because that's not the point of this video, but to give you an idea, I went to one of the more centrally located ones, and, you know, I asked to see an OP, maybe a sub. I didn't say I was going to buy anything, you know, may I have bought something? Sure, potentially, but they had nothing to show me. And then when I did show interest in buying a piece, you know, I wanted this OP, they basically said it's impossible, and that I'd have to get on the list, and that maybe hinted I should buy this other piece, and I'd maybe get that one, but no effort at all to help me get that watch. Not one that's in particularly high demand, by the way. Just them trying to kind of sell me another piece, which, you know, honestly, I kind of got annoyed by. Whereas this other authorized dealer I went to, they didn't have this watch in stock either, but they didn't try and shift another piece onto me. They told me, they took down my information, my phone number. They told me they'd call me when it comes in. They showed me the few other similar pieces. I mean, obviously they still want to make a sale. They showed me a couple of other similar pieces they had in stock. But basically, I just felt like they wanted me there. I didn't feel like I was wasting their time and that they, you know, didn't want to sell me a watch. It didn't feel hopeless, is my point. And here's the thing, Rolex doesn't control that. Rolex only controls, you know, the supply of watches. They don't control how their dealers act and whether or not their dealers want to sell you something or try and hold out for more profit. Because I can tell you, I've worked at Rolex authorized dealers, and they always have pieces in the back. It's bullshit when they tell you they don't. You know, 5-6 Submariners in the safe, and no problem. A few steel Daytonas, absolutely. I'm talking about bigger dealers. Anybody that says what they only have, what's in the case, is lying to you. 100% a lie. I can verify this. They're just trying to qualify you as a customer and hopefully make another sale. You know, and I think rightfully so. If you're asking for a Daytona or a Kermit, something like that, yeah. But a normal OP in not even a fancy color in black, I mean, listen, you shouldn't be offering me to buy a two-tone watch or a gold watch just so I can buy an OP. I think that's total bullshit. Excuse my language, by the way, but this is completely off the cuff. Whereas the other dealer, honestly, it felt a lot better. Now, while neither of them had it in stock, I was assured that if I was willing to wait a couple months, I'd kind of get my way. Whereas, as I said, the other one completely brushed me off. I was totally unimportant to their visit. So I do think a lot of what people are unhappy about on the forums, and on the internet, wait lists, having to wait for pieces, having to buy expensive pieces to get the pieces they really want. Yeah, it's part of the game in 2020. And I think dealers have the right to capitalize on their cost, or capitalize their profits, rather. But I think a lot of the blame game should go to these bad ADs who make people feel less than, and essentially are putting the sour taste in our mouths, because Rolex can't control the customer experience, only to the point as they choose what ADs have the product. But I think it's the authorized dealers, honestly, that need to do a better job at communicating with their customers, trying to fulfill their reasonable needs, because there are differences between reasonable and unreasonable. If something genuinely is scarce and there's a million people that want it, it is going to go to their best customers. But the fact that, you didn't even want to take my phone number down for a watch, didn't want me to try anything on, that was AD1. AD2, a completely different ballgame. And yeah, even told me they had watches in the back. Unfortunately, they didn't have my watch in the back. But this whole thing of like, oh my God, I haven't seen that watch, and we've never gotten that in stock, or there's a 2-year wait list. It's a lie. I mean, I'm telling you, I worked at Rolex ADs. I used to tell those lies. It is pretty much a lie, but it's how you portray it that matters. Anyway, a little bit of a rambly video. I'm sorry I didn't really get to the point, but I really do think a lot of the blame should be placed on unscrupulous authorized dealers as opposed to Rolex. I do think Rolex deserves some of it, but they're popular. I mean, that just means they make a great product. But this whole shortage thing, Rolex is shipping watches. It's ADs kind of holding them in the back and not putting them in a display case and not helping customers out when they walk in. I think that should mainly be to blame. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this rant video. I will catch you soon in the next one. Take care.